Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a video where we will be discussing the top issues with Broken Arrow and my suggestions for how to improve it. So you may have seen that yesterday the devs released a devlog, which is something they really need to do more often because their PR is horrific. And essentially, I mean, there's a lot of just waffle in here, I'll be honest, but hey, it's nice to see. The devs talk a lot about, MBTs are no longer playing nice, basically saying tanks are really effective these days, which is good. That is how tanks should be. ATGM carries are less effective. Well, yeah, they should actually be used in ambushy positions. So, yeah, there's no surprise there. You can't just expect, a cornet launcher to win against a tank. Of course not. Less economic. Christ, I've got a degree in economics, so I can't say the word still. More army. Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how I feel that, but it do feel like income is at a good level. The income, there's not too many issues here. And the other changes that receive positive feedback. Well, okay, the new conquest mode, I'm not really sure I still fully understand it. I mean, yeah, you get more flags. The more flags you have, the more points you get. And essentially, the more points you get, the more victory points you get as well at the end of the phase. So it's an interesting change. I'm not sure if it's for the best or for the worst. So far I'm actually quite liking it, but it's a bit too soon to say. I mean, that we've been testing it for a month, but that also feels like a really long time to be testing the PTE for. Like I say, you might have seen a video of me and Bolt discuss all these issues in an earlier video where we collab together, and you might actually find the heated argument, obviously that is sarcastic, quite an enjoyable watch. So it'll be in the description below, feel free to check that out as well. They talk about AA, and the operational logic has noticeably improved indeed, but is the overhaul complete? Absolutely not. And I think the devs do talk about it here where, many systems have not been fully revised, and I'm sure last time I spoke to the devs, they are maxed out, working all the working hours they're putting into the game. So it is a bit weird to see that the previous hotfix was just introducing the airborne recce, which it was a massive surprise to everyone, but really doesn't make any difference because nobody really uses them much. They're a sort of mediocre unit. So yeah, not really sure what the exact point of them is. And some small changes as well, which again just don't really matter. Okay, so the air tab has gradually started moving away from the old only 1.5 stealth bomber. God, my English today. And yeah, whatever. People do suicide bombers, and I don't really like that, but I also don't like that AA can't shoot them down. Anyway, that's the devlog for you. A quick recap. It is a bit of a nothing burger, as the Americans like to say. It's just chat. I mean, no new information here, but again, at least they're trying to improve their PR, because as we all know, their PR is atrocious. Right, on to the main part of the video. So what do I think the main issues with the game are? Well, let me tell you, because I have quite a few issues with the game. Honestly, it's been grinding my gears quite a lot, to the point where I get really fed up playing games. And you might have seen a few previous videos that I've made just saying, with that devs come on do something meme, because it just feels like nothing's been done. I'll start with the first issue, and that is that the PTE has been going on for way too damn long. And I think it's fair enough to say that people don't like the fact that the player base is split. On the PTE, obviously Elo is reset, so you're either playing with the highest, the best, or the worst players in the game, in the world. There's no way of telling, because again, Elo is just reset, and it's going to take a while before it, sorts itself out to the 2,400 or whatever Elo cast bracket that I'm in. Yeah, it's going to take a long time to get back up there. So I really would prefer to go back onto the main version with, I know people have Smurf accounts as well, and that ruins it, but back onto the main version where, just you get more like-minded players and like-ability players, so the game feels a bit more competitive, as opposed to just either you win by a landslide or you get annihilated by a landslide in most games. So first issue is splitting the player base, and again, the PT has just gone on for way too long, in my humble opinion. The next issue is the AA. Now, on paper, I thought the changes would be great. Well, no, I did have some reservations from the start about the range, but all we really wanted from the vanilla was for the overkill mechanic to be fixed. And they have done that. They have done that. They've done that very effectively. But on top of that, they decided that it'd be a great idea to remove one-shot kill mechanic for basically everything, including large bombs against some infantry squads like Marines. Essentially, it is very difficult to one-shot basically anything in this vehicle. Like, a tank shell does not one-shot a Humvee, which is obviously crazy to think. Yeah, okay, we can argue it just hit the side of the Humvee or went through the windows or whatever, you know, like War Thunder, best armor is no armor. But let's be real, a big fuck-off tank shell to a little SUV is going to absolutely obliterate it. So I don't really like that aspect, but there we go. There's been a lot of good changes as well, but ultimately what I really don't like is the AA. I just really do hate it. It's so... it feels always pathetic. The biggest part that really irritates me is the fact that essentially artillery can fire at your AA within a range of like 5 kilometers, say, but your AA can't shoot down a plane that's hovering at 5 kilometers just outside your range, which is incredibly frustrating because obviously, you know, projectiles can only go so far once they're fired, whereas a rocket can go, well, not indefinitely, but obviously a lot further. And again, I know they have to balance it in terms of, you know, for competitive gameplay, but it just feels weird. It feels really weird. I don't like it. It's very frustrating, and the amount of times that planes get away with dropping their bombs first before getting shot down is just ridiculous. And again, the amount of times that you lose your AA, because first you put it really close to the front line. Things like the Iris, by the way, absolutely useless. There's almost no point for bringing it in, apart from it's really cheap, which is, I suppose, one nice thing about it. But you also just run out of ammunition before you even hit anything, which is really crazy. Like, the whole purpose of the Pack 2 and the low ammo count, you know, huge Russian tube AA was the fact that it could one-shot if it did get a successful kill. So a bit of RNG, but there was a lot less air spam. Now all I see is just half the game is getting bombed to smithereens, and it's really boring, I'll be honest. Really not entertaining at all. You always have to have an superiority fight in the air, which I can get behind. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is you just can't shoot anything down, and it's really frustrating. Again, when they're just circling within 5 kilometers, and you think, Christ, I could throw a rock further than that. You're just like, please, just work. So yeah, I really do want AA to be restored to its former glory with the overkill mechanic fixed, but just make it way more expensive. And that is the solution. Revert the range, revert the one-shot kill, but just increase the price. So obviously, yeah, AA is going to be harder to kill, and it's going to be way further back, but it makes it more of a mission. And if you want air superiority, you do have to neutralize the enemy's air defenses. So it makes it that much more rewarding. Because currently as well with the game, if you go through the large effort of doing a big sneaky beaky flank, getting a sniper nice and deep, taking out AA, or, you know, you do a heli rush or whatever, which, or you break through some mobile fast units, you know, just to defeat the backline stuff. Okay, you lose a huge amount of resources, the enemy loses its AA, but then it's just recharged in 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know the exact timer. I should probably check that, but it's very quick, and it doesn't feel like a big punishment at all. Obviously, if you make it a lot more expensive, whilst making it a lot more effective, then that seems a lot more fair to me. So there we go, enough ranting about AA. But whilst we're on the topic, I must mention Seed. Now, Seed interception range has been nerfed because, you know, AA was too hard to kill, apparently, with Seed. Now, I disagree with that. In a fair test, where a very controlled environment, no desync, when you have one plane shooting at one bit of AA, the AA will not die. It will shoot down both those missiles, because it only fires 2 missiles at a target. And my argument is, that's all well and good. So why does Seed work so well in game? Well, it's desync, really. That is the biggest killer. So desync kills way more AA systems than, you know, skill or anything like that, which is obviously a ridiculous state of the game. And the fact that the Seed interception range has been decreased means desync is way more likely to succeed, because obviously there's less margin for error. And I think that's really stupidly ridiculous. Instead, why don't we bump up the Seed interception range, but actually have the overkill mechanic for AA work for Seed as well, so that you get 3-4 missiles firing at one bit of AA, which obviously you can't keep up and will get overwhelmed. And that is a much more effective strategy. I mean, the other thing that you can do is obviously just make seed a little bit cheaper, just so that, it's easier to keep firing out. The whole point is it's meant to suppress enemy air defenses. When it consistently kills the entire AA line, even though, I had 4 AA units in a previous game that you might have seen, you just think, my god, that's so unbelievably stupid. And the other thing I really hate is actually fighters being able to sneak through all your air defenses just to bomb your air defenses without even getting shot down, which is a really, really sad state of the game right now. And again, that's part of the range, the nerf, the range nerf. Okay, cruise missiles is still a massive problem. We see a huge amount of spam with it. And the problem is how effective it is, just because of the numbers. You fire 20 missiles, AA systems will have 4, 8, whatever missiles. They're never going to be able to, well, they're going to run out of ammunition before intercepting them all, but also they're just massively overwhelmed. The spam is really annoying, and there is quite a really easy solution for it. Just increase the interception range. Again, it is weird that, it's 5 kilometers, high altitude to shoot down a plane, but or more, with the multiplier, of course, but it's not the same for cruise missiles because they're considered low altitude, which, yeah, I understand the way they're going with it, but it's just a bit ridiculous. Like, the AA might be able to have clear line of sight because it's on a hill or something of the cruise missile going towards it, but it can't shoot because it's not within parameters. So yeah, very ridiculous. Let's bump that up and make it a bit more realistic to counter all those threats. Again, if we just pump up the price of AA, I think it's nice and balanced. But I suppose cruise missiles and the heavy 2,000-pound bombs, I really don't like how little damage they do. They're massive fuck-off missiles and bombs. They should do a lot more damage to infantry and vehicles. Essentially, the only way you can get it to kill is with a direct hit, which, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like, anyway, moving on. Right, artillery spam. This is still an issue, isn't it? And so all Arty has to do to break even is essentially kill 1 tank. And with laser guided shells, that's 2 shells, you got a tank in the bag. And it's just a bit of a problem. So I've got a bit of an alternative suggestion. So not only do we bump the price up, which they have done already, but hey, it's still very prevalent on the battlefield. People still use and abuse Arty way too much. And I'm just not a support player, never have been. It's really not my style. I really don't enjoy it. So the problem with the Arty is the fact that all you have to do is kill 1 tank and break even. So again, if we do bump up the price, then that's going to be fixing the issue. I still think that 2 Arty shells should kill a tank, lased, obviously. It is very, very logical. It does make sense. But should perhaps APS be able to destroy one of those rounds? It is designed for a similar sort of job with RPG warheads. So can't you take out a 155 Arty shell? I think so. CRAM and the Panzer perhaps should be able to intercept. I mean, for those who don't know, CRAM stands for Counter Rocket, Artillery, and Mortar. So that is literally its job to take out those shells. And if we can get the CRAM, obviously the PVADs isn't actually designed to do that job, but I mean, the game can take a little bit of creative liberty because CRAMs and PVADs aren't getting used as much, I've noticed. Same with the Panzer. It's not exactly designed for being able to intercept artillery and mortar shells, but perhaps that could be a feature, like, with the guns, to be able to shoot them down. Or, have a not the highest probability of shooting it down, especially at long range. You shouldn't be able to do it reliably, but I think it's a very, very good idea, especially for the CRAM, because that is literally what it's built to do. So, that would help reduce the Arty spam for sure, because you just put one of those sort of close to the front line. It's not that expensive. It'll be able to shoot down 1 or 2 Arty shells, whereas, you'll have 3 or 4 firing at you. And it just makes it a bit more tolerable and a bit more enjoyable. And again, if you do take out the CRAM, then happy days, you're back onto Artying without penalty. But again, if we do put in the APS for Arty being lased onto vehicles, I think that'll be a really nice feature. And again, it'll just make it that bit more survivable, because the game is really moving away from the one-shot mechanic, but if you get 2 Arties firing at exactly the same time, hold fire, release fire, and at the exact same target, that is essentially a one-shot kill. So, yeah, you know, we got to move away from that. The last issue that I have, which I would love to see fixed, is the vehicle resupply. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the fact that there's supply in vehicles to rearm infantry. Like, I mean, of course it's going to have ammunition in it for APCs, etc. It is what it's designed to do. Support the infantry, they jump out, fire their guns, jump back in, stock up, bomb up, and they're back in the fight. But the biggest thing that I hate with a passion is the fact that soldiers magically come back to life by sitting in a Humvee, which is crazy, right? If only life were so easy. You just, oi, jump in that jump in that Humvee. Oh wait, leave the body, by the way. Leave the body on the battlefield. You three jump into the Humvee. Oh look, he's come back alive inside the... Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, isn't it? And I get people saying that IFVs are now actually viable because obviously the tank being more powerful mechanic obviously makes APCs less valuable, but APCs still do have a massive use on the battlefield. Now, you just got to adjust the way you're using them. They're still very useful indeed, that I've found, especially the rapid BTRs on your flanks. Strikers, still very potent, especially if they're javelin overdose. They're still very good vehicles. And essentially, again, yeah, if you just give them more ammunition for the infantry, like javelins, then I really don't see an issue. It just becomes a really useful vehicle. And if you really insist on bringing people to life, then okay, fine. I don't have an issue with designated battlefield ambulance units, but that's what the whole supply thing is about. Now we're just making it easy. You could rotate units, from supply depots back to the front line, and that makes sense. I get it. It's like a little checkpoint where reserves and fresh reinforcements can be brought up. That's fine. I like that mechanic. But the beauty of that was you could blow up the supply point pretty easily. So it made sense from a tactical perspective that you had to hide it. Nowadays, you just have an armored vehicle sitting behind a building, and that's it. You can't blow it up, really, because you can't laser it if you don't have line of sight. And it's just unbelievably frustrating how many people it brings back to life. But also, it's only 1 HP is 1 kilogram of supply. So if a vehicle's got 400 kilos, so 0.4 tons, that is in theory 4 times it can recharge the squad. Obviously, ammunition will need to be recharged as well, and that's a slightly different issue. But yeah, just health alone, you can, yeah. You see my point. It is just redonkulous, and I don't like it. So a very simple thing is just keep rotating like we did back in the old days. The range of resupply has been increased anyway, so it's even better. I really don't like that aspect of the game. So there we go. There are my my summary of the dev blog, which again didn't have too much in it. The quick issues that I've outlined and the 5 solutions and realism arguments, just to make it feel a bit more authentic, because this is meant to be and is currently the most authentic feeling military strategy game, I think, on the market. I really do love it, but I just think it could be so much better. And the PTE needs to end. All these features, they're not great, they're not perfected, but let's just put them in the game and let's just have the core player base reunited with the PTE player base so we get more competitive, more enjoyable games. Because otherwise, I just keep seeing a massive drop off in interest in the game, a massive decrease in the numbers, and it's very sad to see. So hopefully the devs will fix all of that. And on that note, I think it's time to end the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do let me know in the comments what you think. I would be very interested to hear it. Quite a lot of stuff to discuss and quite a lot of things that really do rattle me about the PT. So I really hope to see it fixed because I do really want this game to do well. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.